Hi, I'm Merrick Ekins, Collection Manager of Sessile Marine Invertebrates here at the Queensland Museum. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? I know. So sessile means they're attached to the ground, marine means it comes out of the ocean, and invertebrates means it lacks a backbone. So what I look after are things like corals from the beautiful reef, sponges, ascidians, and a bunch of other things like jellyfish and bryozoans and things like that that people don't really know very well. We've got a couple of things on display here. You've got some fish and our little bommy reef here with our beautiful octocoral fans there. But in the Queensland Museum here, most of our collection is up in the storage area. Less than 1% is on display here. And what we do is we go out in the field and we collect stuff, and the public sends us stuff, and we identify stuff for the public and for researchers around the world. So let's go back up to the storage area upstairs and I'll show you some of the beautiful things in the collection there, and I'll tell you a few stories about some of the voyages I've been on. Here we are in the collection stores at the Queensland Museum, and I've got lots of specimens on the shelves, beautiful mysteries from nature. And there's a couple of things I'm going to talk about. First off, corals, beautiful things, beautiful structures, but today I'm going to talk about some more obscure things like sponges and octocorals, one of my favourite ones. Octocorals are different from the hard corals. The hard corals are what we call hex corals. They've got 6 polyps, whereas the octocorals have got 8. So it's really cool if you're out there scuba diving or snorkeling. You get up close with these things and you can actually see them underwater opening and closing like little flowers. Fantastic. Now, I talked about corals because they have a unusual, beautiful structure. And some octocorals also have a structure like that. But a lot of things like sponges and a lot of other octocorals have a sort of more or less amorphous sort of shape. So it's really hard to identify something on the shape of sponges. So what you do is you have to go into this microscopic detail and see what spicules and sclerotes they got. Sponges have little silicon-based sclerotes, and most of these are like 0.1 or 0.01 or even 0.01 zone of a millimetre in size. They're based of pure silicon. Now I have one really special one here. This is one solid silicon spicule, and it comes from the bottom of the ocean at 3,000 metres, and it's the only species that does this. This stuff is purer than the fibre optics of the network, and it's just one cell of sponge has made that, and it's hollow as well. It's a bit flexible, but I won't break it too much because I've already broken one over here. So that's one type of sponge. We have all these other ones called glass sponges. This is one. Looks like a big bone, and you can see it's hollow, and that's just solid glass. And this is one of my favourites right here. Whoops. And this one here has structure, and look, all that glass looks just like fiberglass. Now, sponges, because they're attached to the ground, they can't move around, and so therefore it's really easy for something like a fish to just come along and take a bite of them. So as well as having their spicules to make it a little bit crunchy and not so digestible, they've also got a whole lot of chemicals, and they engage in turf wars. You know, you've got algae and coral trying to grow over each other, and these guys are fighting back on an hourly or minute by minute basis, and they're putting out these chemical barrages to try and dissolve the other guy, and it moves back and forwards. And because of this, sponges have the highest amount of bioactive compounds in the natural world. And so what we've been doing with sponges, we've been giving them to the guys at Griffith Uni, and at Nature Bank there, they're screening it for all these natural product chemicals. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learnt a couple of little things about some of our fascinating stuff in the environment. Actually, I'm going to tell one more thing because I love it so much. I'm working on these little carnivorous sponges that I got at the bottom of the ocean at 3,000 metres. And these guys have turned from filter feeders into carnivorous feeders. Fascinating. And 18 new species right here off the east coast of Australia. I love science.